Introducing you to Nyam Nyam's soft and delicious blue swirl cookies. Easy to make. All you need is 150 grams of butter whisked away in a bowl with 100 grams of icing sugar. Add 2 egg yolks to that, keeping the egg whites aside. Now, through a sieve, we're going to add 250 grams of wheat flour and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, sifting it in there. Again, whisking it together. Scraping it off the sides with a spatula. Now we're going to flour a chopping board and place our cookie dough on it, rolling it into a ball and slightly flattening it out, then cutting it into 2 halves. One half of the cookie dough we're going to colour blue with blue food colouring, mixing it up till it's all evenly mixed in there. Now, one at a time, we're going to roll out each of our cookie dough colours, rolling them flat about 1/2 inch in thickness. Now for the blue cookie dough. And we're going to layer them on top of each other, rolling them up like a Swiss roll and just slicing off the excess. Once that's rolled, we're going to wrap it in cling film. And then, removing the cling film, put it on a baking tray, coating it in egg white and covering it in rainbow sprinkles. Roll it over so that you can completely cover it in rainbow colours, and time to slice it into cookies. Look at that, beautiful. It's like something out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now those are going to go on some baking paper on a baking tray in the oven for 15 minutes at 150 degrees. And there you have it. Beautiful blue swirl cookies. Love, love, love. Love being creative. All you need is a simple heart-shaped cookie. Add some pink candy melts on that in a little food piping bag, covering the entire top. Shake it so it becomes smooth, and add a few sprinkles for a finishing touch. Now we can use red candy melts, of course, the colour of love. A little bit of melted dark chocolate to make a smiley face and some heart sprinkles. And some melted white chocolate, a little bit of variety in colour and taste. And let's write on this one, how about love? You can be as creative as you like. Writing, faces, sprinkles. It's all very royalicious. You can choose your own designs, make it up as you go along, or follow these simple steps. Flour a cutting board and add your cookie dough. We've made this earlier, and we're just going to manipulate it a bit on the flour chopping board. And then put it aside. Do the same with our chocolate cookie dough. Now, we'll get a small ball of cookie dough and roll it in our palms till it's perfectly smooth, and put that in the centre of our chopping board. We're going to do the same with chocolate cookie dough, and we're going to do this 6 times. Put it around our normal cookie dough to make petals. This is going to be a beautiful flower, so let's make it look more realistic by using a toothpick to push down the centre of each petal. Scoop that up. Now we get another piece of cookie dough, a bit bigger this time, squish it down and roll it out with a rolling pin. We can get a round cookie cutter and remove the excess cookie dough. Scoop that up and just put it on the edge of the chopping board. We're going to now do the exact same thing with our chocolate cookie dough. We're going to roll it out with a rolling pin, cut it with our cookie cutter, remove the excess cookie dough, and place that on top of our normal cookie dough. So we have a layered cookie in the making here. We can do this a few times in any order you like, and we're going to cut halfway down each of those. Now we're going to take each of these slices and bend them over upon themselves, squishing them together. Each of these, we're going to do the same thing and then place them in a circle, loosely sticking them together. Now get a ball of brown cookie dough and stick that in the middle. squishing it down, and there's another beautiful looking flower for you. Scoop that up carefully. Right, get some chocolate cookie dough. Roll out a big piece of that. Now we're going to cut it into thin slices. Very carefully, we'll just scoop that up and put it aside for a few minutes. While we get our normal cookie dough, we're going to do the same thing with this. Roll it into an oblong shape this time and cut it into thin slices. These we're going to fold over themselves, but only every other one. There's a reason for this, you'll find out in a moment. Now, enters our chocolate cookie dough slices. Those are going to go underneath the bits we just folded, forming a lattice type effect. Now we're going to fold every other one again the opposite direction and do the same with one more strip of chocolate cookie dough, folding them back over. And over the other direction and cut that out with a little cookie cutter. And we've got a beautifully brown and white latticed round cookie. Excellent, look at that. Scoop that up. Now we get some chocolate cookie dough this time. Flatten it with the palm of your hand in a circle shape. Get the rolling pin, roll it slightly and cut it with a round cookie cutter. Peel off the excess. Now with a small ball of white cookie dough, we're going to place that in the centre. Scoop the whole thing up. And we're going to fold the chocolate cookie dough around and over the white cookie dough ball in the middle. So when we bake our cookie and bite into it, we get a nice surprise in the middle. Now with a spoon, we're going to just make little indents all the way around our chocolate outer layer. I'm going to slightly squish it down in the centre there, using the end of the spoon. Simple tools, and a tiny, tiny ball of white cookie dough goes in the middle. Now get some normal cookie dough and roll it in your hands, make an oblong kind of shape. Roll that out a bit flatter with the rolling pin, and with some chocolate cookie dough, which we've rolled into a thin sausage shape, we're going to put that in the middle of our normal cookie dough and fold our cookie dough around the chocolate cookie dough to completely cover it. Squish that together nicely, and then we're going to just slice off the edges, making it neat and tidy, and with a fork we're going to do a pretty pattern. So you can use super simple tools that you just have in your kitchen to make really nice decorations on your cookies. So we're going to slice those into 3 squares, scoop them up to go with the rest of our cookies, and bake them all for 12 minutes at 180 degrees, making sure you leave room for them to expand on your baking tray. And there you have it, a delicious array of super simple and super yummy cookies. You can now make cookies as amazing as the ones in a store. These yummy rainbow cookies are perfect for Valentine's Day treats. With an amazing rainbow heart interior, these cookies are sure to surprise everyone. Ingredients are so simple, all you need is some cookie dough and food colouring, and then just follow the simple steps in our video. So, let's get started. First up, just get 500 grams of cookie dough, slice it up into 6 pieces. Now we're going to colour each one with different food colouring, starting with yellow, then orange. You could just swipe it on with a knife, then red, and green, using your hands to mix it in each time. Purple next, and then blue, or whichever colours you prefer. Now we've got our cookie doughs ready, cover in cling film and roll it out with a rolling pin in between 2 magazines to keep 2 straight sides. Do that with each of your cookie doughs. Then using water as glue, you can start to layer them one on top of the other, in whichever order you like. Slicing off the ends and the sides. Now we can use our heart cookie cutter to size up our segments and slice them up. Turn them on their sides and time to cut your heart shape out. Piling them one on top of the other using water as glue again. Now put that in some cling film and chill. Now we're going to get some plain cookie dough, rolling it into very thin sausage shapes. We're going to just wrap those around the outside of our heart. Wrap it back in cling film again, and then with your hands, roll it until it all blends together and you can't see the rainbow anymore. Now we're going to roll that in sprinkles. And slice it up into our cookies. Bake those at 170 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. And there you have it, gorgeous rainbow heart cookies. Welcome to Nyam Nyam's spooky Halloween cookie decoration ideas. Learn to make spiders, mummy cookies and monster cookies. Simply melt some white chocolate and pipe it onto some baking paper. Small, medium and large circles. Using melted dark chocolate for the pupils. And you have your googly eyes. Freeze those to set. Now get your chocolate chip cookie and put a little dollop of melted white chocolate to stick on your chocolate ball. Couple more bits to stick on your googly eyes and one for the mouth. Now some dark chocolate for the legs. They're just grabbing onto that cookie there. Brilliant, spider-tastic. Next we're going to dip a Vietnamese cookie into some melted white chocolate. And then just swizzle some more on top and a little bit of melted dark chocolate for eyes. And there you have a mummy. Next, we're going to get a digestive, put it upside down and squeeze on some melted white chocolate, which has been coloured with green food colouring. Sticking on loads of googly eyes for our monster. And how about a Frankenstein? Some green melted white chocolate goes on there and some dark chocolate for the hair, a few stitches, some googly eyes and a nose. And there you have it. Perfectly spooky cookies in a jiffy. Wahaha! I love Halloween. Nyam Nyam brings to you 4-way Christmas cookies, a holiday classic. Turn your regular cookies into a reindeer cookie, a gingerbread house, gingerbread man, and some candy canes. Get 100 grams of butter, whisk that up in a mixing bowl, and add 80 grams of icing sugar. Now we're going to add 2 egg yolks to that and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 200 grams of flour then goes into that mixture. Whisk it all up nicely. We're just going to peel it away from the sides of the bowl using a spatula. And there we have it, our cookie dough. We're going to put some flour on a chopping board and place our dough ball on it. We're going to just manipulate it a little bit and then cover it in cling film. Now this is important to keep it fresh and stop it drying out. Because next we're going to freeze that for 2 hours. And when it's ready, we're going to flatten it out and cut it in half. You don't have to flatten it too much, just a little bit. And just sort of squeeze it a bit with your hands and then add a few drops of red food colouring because we want this first half of the dough to be completely red. So we break a little piece off and we roll that into a ball in the palm of our hands. And then roll it into a thin sausage shape. Put that aside for a minute. And we get the second half of our cookie dough, which we haven't coloured. So we're going to do the same, manipulate that a bit in our hands and break a piece off. Now we're going to roll that into a ball and then into a sausage shape, just like we did with the red dough. So now comes the fun part. We're going to put our 2 dough sausages side by side and stick them together. And then we're going to twist. And you get this wonderful candy cane effect. Brilliant. And then all we need to do to perfect it is just curl over the end. And there you have it, a perfect candy cane shaped cookie. Bake that for 15 minutes at 150 degrees. Super fast, super easy. And there, it's ready to go. Gorgeous Christmassy candy cane cookies. For our next recipe, we need 100 grams of butter and 80 grams of icing sugar. Just as before, the same cookie dough base, 2 egg yolks. Whisk that all up together Add 200 grams of flour, 20 grams of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of ginger powder, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder into that. Using your electric whisk, just mix it all together. Press it together using a spatula. Again, making our dough ball, flouring our board, and rolling out our chocolate cookie dough. Lovely. Cover that in cling film. Just as before, we're going to freeze that for 2 hours. Now, once it's ready, we're going to put it back on our chopping board and roll it out. Rolling it quite thinly, ready for our gingerbread man cookie cutter. Removing the excess and repeating the process until you have enough cookies. Now we add a little ball of foil in the middle, so we're going to fold over the gingerbread man's arms using a knife, very carefully sticking them down. Now that goes in the oven at 150 degrees for 15 minutes. Rising nicely, and once it's ready you can take it out, remove the foil, and it's time to decorate using royal icing through a food piping bag, which is going to put on our facial features. A smile, of course, and how about some socks? Anything else you might like to add? Maybe some buttons? Now, the reason we stuck his arms down earlier on that little ball of foil was so we could make a space to place the lovely candy cane in the middle. This gingerbread man comes bearing gifts. For our third and final recipe, we get some basic cookie dough, make it the same way as you made it last time, roll it out flat on a chopping board, and cut out some house shapes with a cookie cutter. We're going to use several different cookie cutter shapes here, so 1 for the main shape of the house, 2 rectangles and 2 squares. Now remove the excess. Those are going to bake in the oven for 15 minutes at 150 degrees, just like the other 2. Once those are ready, we need to build our house. We're going to use royal icing to stick together the pieces to make our house shape. So, royal icing is kind of an edible glue in this recipe, sticking on our square-shaped cookies for the sides. Carefully sticking them on. A bit more royal icing goes on there, and we add the other side of the house. There. Then, of course, we need to add our rectangles for the roof panels. I always find this kind of recipe very therapeutic. I love making things, and especially things that I can eat. So now our roof is finally on. We're just going to seal it all together. Yum! And we're going to use some pink buttercream icing to make this a very girly house, and we're going to add lots of hearts. So it has a very pretty, delicate look about it, with the white and the pink against the cookie. You can have fun with this. Get the kids to join in. A little bit of a dotty pattern there over the rim of the door. How about some windows? But why stop at the basics? Decorations and zigzags going on there, just to disguise our glued pieces. Some more hearts on the roof, a bit bigger this time. You can be creative, you can use any different colours you like, you can even stick chocolate on it or bits of candy, even hundreds and thousands if you want to give it a nice rainbow effect. Really, whatever takes your fancy. We're sticking to pretty in pink. These beautiful delicate cookies can sit perfectly on the rim of our mug. Absolutely fantastic for dipping. Right, for our final recipe, we're adding 100 grams of butter to a mixing bowl and whisking that up. Now we're going to add 50 grams of brown sugar this time. That's 50 grams, not 80 grams as before in the last recipes. We're going to whisk that up with 1 egg, a whole egg this time, egg white and yolk, not only the yolks. Now to that we're going to add 200 grams of flour and half a teaspoon of ginger and cinnamon powder. Whisking it all together and scraping it away from the sides of our mixing bowl, and there you have your cookie dough. Using an ice cream scoop, we're going to take that out. Looks delicious already. Placing that in our hands, we like the hands-on approach here, and rolling it to get the desired shape, slightly squeezing it and patting it down a little bit, placing that on our baking tray, which we've covered in baking paper to avoid sticking. Stick that in the oven for 15 minutes at 150 degrees, just like the other recipes. Now our cookie's ready, time to decorate using M&Ms. 2 chocolate M&Ms for the eyes, 1 red one for the nose. Now for the fun part, let's get some pretzels and dip them in melted dark chocolate. Yummy! You can use milk or white if you like, but we like dark. We're going to stick those onto the top of our cookie, 1 on each side. And there you have the antlers. Don't forget the mouth. How about a royal icing smile? Brilliant, that's one happy reindeer wishing you a Merry Christmas.